So just a lot of news that happened over the weekend and just yesterday. You got the Tesla Model Y being released. Not only that, but apparently there's now 50,000 orders on launch day. You've got message or reporting from German media that Giga Berlin is supposed to also start to put the Model Y for sale there. And right now it's for sale in 12 countries in Asia Pacific. You got news of Morgan Stanley increasing their price targets with a bull case of $800. You got FSD going wide release for the first time ever. One single software update is included FSD version 12.6 for AI3 cars at the same time as 13.2.4 for AI4 cars. That's pretty cool. You got kind of some rumors here that Elon is being asked by the Chinese government to possibly, as one option, is selling TikTok to them, as that apparently that in about a week or so they might need to make some drastic, they've been banned in the US. They need to take some action. You got OpenAI now hiring roles for a new robotics division. They've made that pivot. I don't know how big that is. And then back to FSD again, you got a number of top executives talking about how great Tesla's FSD is. You got Su Ching, Huawei executive, saying it's the best. You've got the Xiaomi CEO saying that Tesla is 5 to 10 years ahead. And then you've got, I guess a few more other folks. Let me take a look at here. What am I forgetting here? Oh yeah, George Hotz of CEO of Comma AI saying how it's great as well. So, we're making some moves, some big ones. Why don't we start with the Model Y? That seems to be so far a pretty, still early. We don't know yet, but it looks like that it's looking like it's a great release. Do you want to kick us off, Omar? What's your thoughts on the Model Y?
Hey, yeah. So super exciting to see this new Model Y. Obviously, if you're a Tesla investor, we can talk about FSD, we can talk about Optimus, we can talk about future products, but the Model Y is the company's bread and butter today. More than 50% of their volume is Model Y. They're selling more Model Y than every other model they make combined. So it's absolutely material when they update the Model Y. I think a lot of people knew this was coming. People who have the new Model 3, they could see what a huge improvement it was over the previous Model 3. And everyone knew that those improvements were coming to the Y and more. And now we've seen it launch in Shanghai. Rumor is it's launched in Berlin. And then we've just got North America. So I think there's going to be quite a bit of pent-up demand for this thing. I think the update partially explains why you saw deliveries flat year over year in 2024. I think it was definitely a headwind on margins. There were heavy incentives, especially towards the end of the year, that they had to offer to move those old Model Y. You can see right away they're selling this alongside the old Model Y with a higher price in China. So higher volumes, higher price. That's really what this means. And when it's a product like the Model Y that's more than 50% of the volume, this is going to be a big part of meeting the guidance for this year to grow 20 to 30%.
Isn't it funny though that especially particularly in the Tesla community, there seemed to be quite a number of folks who were saying that they did not like the look of the Model Y. I love it. I really do like it. The reason I like it is because I didn't really like the old version of it, snub toe, snub. The front looked like a snub nose. This looks much nicer, and they did just enough to make it really good. And of course, it's going to go south. So that's the good news, right? It looks like it's very successful. What did you think about the Model Y, Alexandra?
I had one. I had one from 2022 to 2024. I loved it. But I think the refresh is really more modern. I love how there are elements from the Cybertruck in it. I think it's going to be a huge success. And I maintain my theory that they are very quickly producing the car in all three factories, Austin, Berlin, and Shanghai. That it's simultaneous rollout. I know I got a lot of heat from Larry on that point, that nobody has ever done that. Well, there are lots of things nobody has done until Tesla came around, and so I do believe they're going to be able to pull that off.
Yeah, the Model Y is being spotted in California, being tested already. So there is that possibility. The rumor in Germany, it was launched in 12 countries simultaneously. But this idea that they did this launch series, and it feels like they did a really good job of separating the brand new Model Y with the existing Model Y. Like Omar was saying, they were actually even like being sold side by side right now. That's brilliant. And they need to raise all the prices, right? So that there's even more of a separation when the more affordable models come into play. I think they've done a fantastic job so far. Is there any kind of features that you guys thought was the Model Y was, kind of new that you didn't expect, or the other way around, something you thought was going to be there but didn't come? Like some people are saying, well, it should have had the 48 volt architecture already, and that didn't come. It had the stock, right? Turn signal stocks, and that should have been, that was shocking that they put it back in. What's your thought? Anything you're expecting there, Omar?
Yeah, I mean, I like the new look. The old one was really kind of like a bigger Model 3. It looked kind of cute compared to the new one. It looks a little sharper, a little tougher. So I like the light bar in the front and the rear. We're really entering kind of a cyber era for Tesla. As FSD, I think, becomes more prominent, you're seeing them adopt these light bars across the lineup. And I think people really like it when they see it. You always see people sort of make these comments, whether it's the new Model 3 or the Cybertruck, but
All right.
then you look at the sales figures. Cybertruck was the best-selling electric truck in 2024. It outsold the Ford, the Rivian. And how upset were people when they saw that thing for the first time? The new Model Y is much less radical by comparison. I think this will be the best-selling car in the world again in 2025.
Do you have a comment about the camera and the front bumper?
Yeah, it's really cool that it's got the front bumper camera. It's really handy on the Cybertruck. I think we're going to see going forward probably front bumper cameras on all of the vehicles.
Yeah. And then do you guys have any thoughts or any news about FSD being approved in China? So we've got, small little bit, there's the word supervised appeared in FSD in the UI in the Chinese cars. They don't do that in Korea or Japan. And then just yesterday, the Chinese government approved Beijing to have level 3 autonomy. The regulations there is coming. Just a few things like this keep happening. Anybody here have any thoughts on expectations for FSD being approved in China?
I mean, I'm hearing rumors about it all the time. I'm very careful with those rumors. So I'm commenting here clearly that it was only rumors. When we saw the stock price go up quickly yesterday at the close, there was a TikTok story, but there was also very quickly rumors about an FSD licensing deal. I heard at that moment that China, in this mercantile environment of Elon getting involved with TikTok, would offer FSD license in China. Again, this is all only rumors, so I feel this is really, very edgy. And I mean, obviously stock price today just went back to where it was before, so I don't think there's much really there.
Sorry, explain that. You're thinking that's the Chinese government?
I heard that. I heard from some people who are very well connected with China that the deal on the table was him getting either personally invested in TikTok or via X or in a partnership, and in exchange, China would fast track FSD for Tesla in China.
I don't know. That's very weird. Yeah. So how don't we talk about TikTok? And obviously this is more than a rumor because apparently it is one of the options that the Chinese government are evaluating involving Elon to acquire the U.S. operations of TikTok. It's nobody knows what the value is, but the guess right now is between $40 to $50 billion. Do you guys think that Elon would be interested in this? That X would buy TikTok. He's said before he thinks TikTok is the devil, but he also said he thinks that they should not ban TikTok. And then Donald Trump has said that he thinks it should be delayed, so that the decision should be delayed, so there's more time to decide what to do. Anybody here have thoughts on TikTok?
Wasn't there a story that Elon, Mark Zuckerberg, and Bezos were all going to be appointed to it?
Oh, I've not heard that. That's new. All I heard was they're going to show up in the inauguration. These are rumors, I guess, right? Just a lot of rumors. I mean, why would Elon do this? Like, obviously video would be great for X. I was thinking that it might be something that's good for the entertainment for robo taxis, but you can just partner with companies for that rather than necessarily owning it, right? No. Hey, Sawyer, welcome to the panel here. We were just talking about the 50,000 sales that's rumored to have happened already, the new version, the launch version. Any thoughts on the launch version, this idea that they came out with the launch version first and then this number of 50,000 sales?
I think it's smart. I think they sort of are copying what they did with the Cybertruck, whereas, they had the Foundation series. And I think a lot of us, including me, only expected maybe like a few thousand of those things to be sold and delivered, but it ultimately ended up being what, like 30,000, 35,000, something around there.
50.
Yeah. So
50,000.
I think they're essentially using that strategy because they know the demand is going to be really hot initially for the Model Y. So why not charge a little bit more and throw some, extra badges and cosmetic things on there, and then just charge a few $1,000s extra, and then you essentially just have better margins right off the bat. So I think it's a smart strategy.
Mm-hmm. Are you also expecting the Model Ys being sold here in the US and Germany in Europe quickly?
I would think so. I mean, the Model Y is it's the massive cash cow for Tesla, right? And I think if it's going to launch in the rest of the world, that word's going to get out to potential buyers, and people might hold off. So I don't think we're going to have the same situation that that we had with the Model 3, where it launched in China in like September, and then we had to wait until January, February for deliveries to start in the US. I don't think it's going to be that long. I think if anything, we'll see it launch in January, like introduced rather, in North America, and then probably delivery start in March, April timeframe.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hopefully James will come on up. But Xander, do you have thoughts on why the stock jumped last night? Was it because of the Morgan Stanley, $800 price tag for the bull case, or was it the Model Y, the news of the 50,000 and the potential release in Germany? Some people think that it could be one of those things. Of course, we don't know. We always ask this question. The answer is always we have no idea what caused it. But anything from your side, from what you're hearing, why investors are excited?
If anything, it was the maybe there was a leak for the producer's price index.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And yeah, and so I mean, look, it's really hard to. I said this last time. Nobody knows why the stock goes up, why it goes down. So it's just the overall sentiment. The yields are doing something that is making investors uneasy, and if like this feels like a big giant bull trap. Um, so like the way that it moved up and then it got sold off immediately in the beginning of the day. If the kind of the coast is clear, you typically see the stock price climb like it did, but then it won't reverse, and especially it won't reverse so hard and then get sold off at the end of the day, where that's typically what the Wall Street will do to retail investors. They will just dump it on the bullish people. The PPI actually indicated that it was cool. It was a lower number, which indicates that inflation isn't so crazy. But the 10-year yield has been climbing, and the reaction from the bond market wasn't to to bring the yield down. It's kind of either in a holding pattern to wait and see. So it's really a choppy time. To try to attribute it to one of those things, I think all of those things helps. I view it like this: if they announce something like a partnership with FSD or some sort of large data point comes, the stock can rocket, but it can also go, back down to 350 or 340 or 280. Who knows? So it's really what's going to happen on an inauguration date is really important. Is the market, e- e- excited for Trump's tariffs and all of these things, or because we basically retraced. So I'm watching all of it, but I kind of freed up some cash, and I'm waiting to see which way to go. I started deploying a little bit on this news, but at the same time, I have some reserves from selling before to deploy if we actually change directions. But for now, it's very, very choppy.
Okay. So we have James here. Welcome, Invest Answers. We're talking stock right now, and then we'll move into Morgan Stanley and the analyst and what they're saying about FSD. James, just you want to carry on what Xander was saying about the stock?
Sorry, I had some technical problems earlier today, so I had to start up a brand new machine. Anyhow, I thought my gut told me, because the Morgan Stanley news happened about 5 hours earlier to the big volume spike. The volume spike was pretty intense yesterday, going 20 minutes into the close. And then in after hours, I had a hunch it could have been an FSD OEM type deal or rumors of one hitting the market. Maybe that was the case. We don't know. I don't think it was the rumors of the CPI report. And maybe it could have been something as easy as, Giga Berlin flipping over to Juniper today or tomorrow, whenever that is. Something like that. But it's very hard to put our finger on, and I can't find any solid evidence of what it was. But it was a bit of a disappointment to go from, what did we hit? We hit 423 today almost, up from 390 yesterday, and then tanking again to 393. So it's exactly where we were yesterday, which is very bizarre. It's a mystery to me. I don't know the answer.
Yeah. See, I don't think it was the Morgan Stanley, because Morgan Stanley only increased it to 430 from 400. And then they did say this new bull case of 800. That was a very interesting number. They referred again, as many analysts, on the progression of FSD, and they keep just changing their numbers. It's really funny because they still are saying widespread adoption in 2040. But if you take that widespread adoption in 2040 and you bring it down to where, to today, that's where they get the potential of 430, and then you've got the 800 as a big number. The more interesting one is actually Deutsche Bank. Nobody talked about that. They raised their price target same day, 370 to 420. But what was interesting about theirs was not just robotaxi. They actually talked about Optimus. They actually said there's a faster ramp for Tesla's Optimus because of Elon's comments over the weekend. That was one of the first companies, analysts that finally mentioned that. Yeah, go ahead, Alexandra.
No, I just wanted to add that we just heard 5 minutes ago that the SEC is finally suing Elon Musk for securities violation in federal court. I don't think this will go much further. This is obviously still Gary Gensler's one of his last acts before he leaves and his resignation. Just wanted to put this out there. Don't expect much to come out of it, but wanted to comment on it.
What was this related to? Is this back to the go private thing, or what is this?
No, I think this was the in the Twitter purchase. In the Twitter purchase communication. And there is actually a court case that is linked to that in Delaware as well. So we have that now on both levels. With the Delaware case, which is the Employees Retirement System of Rhode Island, that thought that the sale of Tesla then, when he purchased Twitter, was not done how it should have been. And obviously this one as well now. So we have double the whopper.
Yeah, there's one other quick thing, Herbert, just occurred to me. And I know, just like Alexandra actually gave me this idea, the ARK Invest active managed ETF daily trade information. I'm looking at the chart. It looks like there was a lot of selling into the teeth of the spike to 420 this morning. I think maybe We'll find out later today. ARK was selling into that spike, and that could have dragged it down. Just a theory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there was actually a report that I shared last week, and people are totally misreporting it. What the report showed was that in July, Tesla stock was the most shorted stock in July. And then recently, the latest report showed that I think out of 332 hedge funds, it's now the 9th most held from institutions. And as Simon Hale has been reporting every day, he shows you the volume that spikes in the morning and the volume that spikes in the after the near the close, and that to him is an indicator that big whale institutions are buying still, and that is still happening. That still happened yesterday as well. So it's these banks are I thought it was good that these both Deutsche Bank and Morgan Stanley did their notes, and this is when the stock has like you called it. Xander retraced over the last week, but them referring to FSD and them referring to the bot for the first time. Nick, did you want to join in and want to talk stock first, or the Morgan Stanley and Deutsche Bank notes?
Hey, Herbert. First, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good. Just want to make sure my mic's set up right. Let me take a step back for a second. I just want to keep listening to catch up on what you guys are talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Are you guys noticing that analysts are now talking more about FSD? And again, just FSD 13, right? I think the new version, Omar, does anybody actually have that new version of 13 yet?
Everybody's now on the latest version.
Wasn't it like a 13.2.4?
Yeah, that's just for Cybertruck.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. And then, so again, there's not much of an update in terms of, this feature 13, which has been around for a while, but then we're seeing analysts continue to just referring to it. What is the next thing that we're going to see or expect to hear about FSD to feel like it's getting better? Because 13 was a huge step change. When are we going to feel like, or what's the next release that we're going to see another step change in functionality?
Well, we haven't seen the full version of 13 yet. This is kind of the version 13 mini. So the 3x larger version of the model, the one with 3x longer context length, a lot of the new features like parking options, that's still in the works. That's 13.3 and 13.4. And that should be rolling out later this month.
And when it does, are you expecting, well, I know you said 3x, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be a 3x improvement. But at least, is it enough that people are going to go, whoa, or is it just a, great, another improvement? Or is it going to be visible?
Yeah, it's going to be another major step forward. When you increase the model size, it really makes it much more lifelike. So I think it's going to shock people yet again. People are really impressed with the current version of 13. This framework they have of, training these end-to-end models, they're not anywhere near the end of the road. Just simply scaling up data, compute, and the training set, they're going to continue to have better and better performance out of these models. And AI 3 is seeing 12.6 roll out as well. That's going to be rolling out now to Model 3 and Model Y cars as well. Hasn't rolled out to most of them, but it's starting to get out, which is exciting. And then later this quarter, we should see FSD 13 for AI 3 cars as well.
Okay, that's going to be very interesting to see. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.